everyone, this is Baker from Man vs. Dead, and I am honored to be joined today with Greg and Rachel Denning, who we've met a lot of people while we've been traveling along this road trip, but maybe these guys have maybe the most unique story of them all. So I wanted to get them on camera while we're spending a few days here in Redding, California, or outside of Redding, and share their story and get some of their expertise for what they're doing. So, before I let them talk, I'm going to do some more talking, and that is, we get a lot of people that email or message us and say, hey, there was so many people that are traveling and young. We really appreciate the fact that you guys share your travels as a family. And so we're very flattered when we're able to do that and sort of help other families realize that it's possible. But even we need inspiration, and when we turn for inspiration, these are the type of families and the type of people that we turn to. They don't have just one kid. Not 2 kids, not 3 kids, not 4 kids, but they are doing this with 5 kids, a family of 7 with 5 kids. And I guess, Greg, if you would, give us a quick recap of the last few years. We've talked about it, but I want to hear it in your own words of where you guys have been. Just a quick version.
Okay. We got excited about travel, and Rach and I had a quick trip to Mexico, and we both went, wow, we want to do this. And so after our 4th child was born, we drove from the States down to Costa Rica, lived there for a year. Then we moved and lived in the Dominican Republic out in the Caribbean, which was fantastic. After that, we ended up in India and just loved that experience. Flew back from India while Rachel was pregnant with our 5th and drove from Atlanta, Georgia up to Homer, Alaska, where we spent the last year. So now we're on our next adventure, which is Alaska to Argentina, to Tierra del Fuego.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to get them on camera, for that specific reasons. With 4 kids through most of that, now with the 5th, little baby Atlas, who is so cute. And what are the ages now, Rachel? Like, what's the breakdown?
Our oldest is Kaya, she is 8, and then Parker's 7. Kimball is 5, almost 6, Aaliyah's 4, and then Atlas is 8 months.
8, 7, 5, 4, and 8 months.
Yes.
Correct? Wow, that is, I guess the follow-up question to that is, are you crazy?
Yes.
Like, serious question. Like,
yeah.
Do you get that a lot?
Sometimes.
Do people really ask you? Do they see you, hear what you're doing, and they really, like, honestly, do they, like, check in to see if you're a little, like, loony?
Yeah, I think people think we're a little strange sometimes.
But
it's just so unconventional.
Is it really that strange, though? So let's get into this, because I want to talk about this. We have people ask us this question, too, and it's not even close to the same scale of what you guys are doing. Like, does it feel strange in day-to-day life for you?
No. To us, it's just, you get up in the morning, you have breakfast, you get dressed, except for us, then we go to the beach, or we go to the Redwood Forest, or we...
To Mount St. Helens, or Rainier, or today up to the lake.
Yeah. So, and I think that we've run into that same thing, too, and I keep telling people with life in the RV, because I want to get into what you guys are doing this most recent tour in, but people ask us all the time when they see the RV is like, you guys, can you do this for a long period of time? And I always tell them, like, after the first month, it was just life, and you adapt, yep. and you learn how to live and operate in a small space like the RV, or even a smaller space, because you guys are actually doing this in a truck that has benches in the back for the kids and a rooftop tent. So picture this, a truck and a rooftop tent. We think we need the RV, which is 31.5 feet with a slide out, a bathroom, kitchen sink, and here they are making it happen all the way from Alaska to Argentina in just the truck. And not only is this a truck with a rooftop tent, this is a veggie-powered truck, right?
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that, Greg. Like, how in the world, we're spending $1,000 to $1,500 in gas. And we just went to Shell before we got here to meet you guys and filled it up for whatever, $220. Tell the Man vs. Dead readers where you guys went to get your fuel before you got here.
Yesterday, before we got here, we stopped at a restaurant. Walked back to their veggie bin. They had over 300 gallons of veggie. I took what we needed and what we could carry.
What the veggie is.
Oh, it's waste vegetable oil. They take it out of their fryers after they've cook their fries or the chicken or whatever they're doing. They take the waste vegetable oil, they throw it in their bins, and then we recycle it and put it in the truck. It cost me $0 in dollars to get that. It's exchange rate. I had to work a little bit for it. It took me half hour to get 30 gallons. Yeah. That was the slow way. Yeah. But we
filled up for $220. You stopped by a restaurant with a half an hour's of work and did the exact same thing.
Right.
And a lot of people I hear I hear about this a lot, but it really, the envisioning of my mind comes up in like two like hippie type people going around to a restaurant. It doesn't strike me as a family of 7 actually pulling this off. Where'd you get the idea from, or like, have you always been passionate about this issue, or did you just jump into it?
No, we bumped into it, and you know, our whole life has been like that. We just meet great people along the road and new ideas, and once your mind's expanded to a new idea, you know, you grab hold of it. And we had been toying with this idea of a long road trip, and we kind of solidified it. Hey, Alaska to Argentina, and then the idea came across, if you can do this on Veggie.
Yeah.
I thought, that's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah, probably approaching at least 10,000.
Yeah, it's going to be huge.
I don't know. I'd like to see the math on that. But yeah, that's a huge thing. So let's talk more about the finances, because one of the questions I get a lot is, how do you guys afford this lifestyle? And I work way too much. As a lot of Man vs. Debt readers, you know, I go back and forth, but we're working and living on the road. Well, you guys have a slightly different system well, I'll let you guys explain it. How are you affording this trip?
I think our main philosophy is that we eliminate everything that we can that's not essential for us, so that we free up the time and the money to do what we really want to do.
Sure.
So, and that's why we went with the rooftop tent option and everything, is because we're eliminating rent, we're eliminating accommodation expenses. We can, I mean,
Eliminating gas.
Right. Basically living in our truck,
Yeah.
but it gives us the freedom to go, you know, all the way to Argentina.
Yeah. And so primarily, I guess what you did is, you guys, stage one is just to be ultra frugal and to realize what's important to you guys, spend money on that, which we've talked about as well, but also just to eliminate these sort of expenses that people think are necessities when they're traveling. Like I said, we're spending almost $1,500 a month, and it had Courtney and I scratching our heads to be like, wow, maybe we should have thought more about this, or maybe there are more ways that we can stretch ourselves. When we heard about your guys' story,
we love to ask that question. Is there a better way? And you start questioning, you know, we take our living expenses and we're like, is this the bare minimum? And then you figure out, no, it's not. You squeeze it. And so you give up some luxuries, some comforts. But for us, with our priority, hey, the trip's our priority, family time's our priority. I can skip a little bit of comfort and luxury here and here. Personally, I can give that up in order to say, wait a minute, now I'm freed up time and other things, so we can do what we really want to do. And so we've gone totally frugal.
Yeah.
And so our living expenses are cheap.
Yeah.
So now you find a way to cover those expenses.
Yeah.
You got it. You get to do what you want to do.
And that's great. And I want to now dive into what you just said about the family time, because honestly, we've encountered this again in both the positive and negative of sort of traveling families. And I might offend some people here, but a lot of times when we have, like, when we meet homeschool families or when we meet a lot of traveling families, at times the kids can be less than social, or the parents themselves can be less than social. There can be some barriers there that we've seen in different families, and that we're taking strides to help make sure that we're healthy in that essence. But your kids, seriously, this is not just because you're sitting here, are so curious and so well behaved and really just amazing kids. And so Courtney and I are looking at you guys, looking for parental tips. Like, how do you guys travel, live so close together, and give I guess, I don't know, what are your top parenting tips, is what I'm trying to get at, because I really look up to you guys in that instance.
I think that one thing I always try to focus on with the kids is just personal responsibility and being concerned about being the kind of person they want to be. So if there's some type of issue, I really focus on, okay, are you acting how you want to be? Are you doing the kinds of things that are going to make you the person you want to be? And how do you feel right now? Do you feel good when you're fighting with your brother? Or, you know, that's my area of focus, really.
And is there one that sticks out for you?
Yeah, well, you know, Rach and I are really passionate about personal development and trying to be our best selves. We're aware of the stigma of social retardation or whatever, you know. We're like, oh no, you don't want to be social. You get this recluse, you know. You imagine this person that can't communicate. We're on a quest together. We're passionate about personal development and trying to make the most of ourselves, and so we go about it with passion, and the kids follow along. And we encourage them. You know, we're outgoing. We love to meet people from all cultures and places and backgrounds and ages, and be able to interact with all of them and learn from them and grow and learn in every situation. And so we're passionate about education. We're passionate about being people of influence that can make a difference in the world. and just try to be good people.
Model that for
Yeah,
your kids.
and
Lead
they
by
follow
example.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously this is a softball, but you guys believe that travel enhances that in your kids and enhances that in yourself.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah, which we do too. And again, I said that was a softball, but that's sort of what Courtney and I keep coming back to. Is I think that we think in general that travel is leading us and then by in return Milligan in the direction of where we want to grow as people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's really great. So let's talk a little bit of shop. Let's talk a little bit about your guys' site because I really like it, and that is discovershareinspire.com. Is that right? What is the goal now? Let me ask you this: what's the primary goal of your trip? Have you thought that's a tough question for us. What's the primary goal of the trip from the West Coast and literally the West Coast of the entire hemisphere? I guess that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
The entire West Coast. Yeah.
It's awesome.
What's your guys' primary goal?
It just started as what we thought, what do we want to do based on the travel we've done, based on the experiences we've had, what are we really passionate about? And our thing is discovery. It's really about that. We love going to new places and seeing what they have to offer and learning from it, but then we really tend to get bored after we've been there for too long. So we realize that we love that change.
The evolution.
To, exploring new things. And so when we thought about it, we just were like, well, let's just drive and keep driving and
just keep going
and keep
south.
going, yeah.
And
So
share all the great things that the world has to offer. But if I can step back, it's all priority.
Yeah.
Our main focus is family closeness. We want a tight, close, growing, loving family that we become well-rounded, developed people and stay tight as a family, and so that priority is important. That's the basis of this discovery and this sharing and this travel. Hey, we're going to do this trip, but the goal is just a solid family. So often, so many of us get distracted by work or other pursuits or hobbies or whatever it is, and so our main priority is that. And so how can we really do that, and then tie in our discovering and our desire to share all these experience and then share it.
Yeah, so let's take that. And Rachel, you're the primary writer or the primary face of the website itself. How does that tie in? So you guys have this personal message of family first and then evolving. As together as a family evolving is what I'm deciphering from you guys. But so how does the site tie into that? Or how is the site? What's your goal with the site?
With the site, I just like to share our experiences. So I'm writing about what we're doing. I'm also offering tips and advice about how to do it and how to manage education and where to go and everything.
So it's almost like a megaphone for your guys' experience to get those out to other people who may be looking at well, it's nice if you want to travel, but I have 3 kids. I could never do that. Emails I get all the time. People who say when you guys have your second child, things will change.
Yeah, we hear that all the time.
So when you guys have your 6th, it's definitely going to be different.
Oh, yeah.
No. So I love that because I think that we need more megaphones from people who break down barriers, who break down excuses, and I think I'm flattered that we get to do that for a very, very small group of people with 1 kid. But it's awesome to be able to share your guys' story to say, hey, there is almost no excuse. You can make it happen. You can be frugal. You can go with 5 kids. You can realize whatever is your priorities, and you can make those happen. So that's why I've enjoyed having you guys on, and I enjoy sharing your stories. So I always wrap up these sort of interviews, and I haven't told you guys this before. So this is a little bit of a surprise, but I want you guys to ask a question of the Man vs. Dad readers. So you guys have to come up with a question. You ask, and we'll get the sort of feedback from the reader. So either one of you can jump in. And I know it's a surprise. I love surprising people with this question. But if you could ask one thing, what would you ask?
Ooh, tough.
There are no wrong questions.
A question for your readers.
I would think, what is it that holds people back?
That's my question.
You're on the same page. Go with it.
Go.
What is it that holds people back from doing what they really want to do?
Yeah. So if I may even be able to evolve that a little bit, because I love this question. When it was asked to me one time, and I think it literally changed my life. What's the number one thing that's holding you back?
Right.
So what's the number one thing that's holding you back?
Right.
and eliminate that, and then your next number one.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You move that way.
Keep moving it
Yeah.
on. So yeah, so if you guys can help all of us out by listing out what the number one thing is holding you back, and again, Greg and Rachel, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's an honor to be able to share your guys' story and spend a couple days here with our families together.